Hi class. So in the last session we have already discussed the introduction and the first chapter of this particular novel. So we'll be moving on to the second chapter. Okay. So the end of first chapter we saw how Mrs. Bennet was forcing Mr. Bennet to go and visit the Bingleys so that they can form an association. And we talked about how women were largely dependent on men during that period and they could not even introduce themselves. So they had to be introduced by the men in the family. And that's why Mrs. Bennet wants Mr. Bennet to go and visit them. She also hopes that Mr. Bingley will fall in love with one of her four daughters so that they might have a good future and they might be able to support the rest of their family. And there is also another social practice there where, you know, that women are not allowed to own property. So even though Mr. Bennet has a property, he's not able to pass it down on to his daughters. They do not have rights over his property, so that's why they have no fortune. And it is only by marrying into a good family, marrying a man who has a good money, can they hope to have a good life. All right. So that was what we discussed in the last class. Moving on to chapter 2. Mr. Bennet does go and visit Mr. Bingley, but he initially does not tell his family. All right, but then he teases the women of the family. He tells them of how they might be able to talk to them in the ball that is coming up, and the women are confused. They say that how can we when you have not spoken to them yet, right? And 1 second. And Mr. Bennet says that I hope that Mr. Bingley will like Lizzie. So we see that among his four daughters, he likes his daughter Elizabeth the most. Okay, and because he feels that she has a strong mind and she's different from the other girls. And he hopes that Mr. Bingley will like Elizabeth. But then Mrs. Bennet comments that how will we know what he likes when we cannot approach him since you have not gone to visit them? Okay, but then that is when he tells them that he has in fact visited them, all right, visited Mr. Bingley, and that's why they will be able to talk to him. And he says that a fortnight's acquaintance is certainly very little. Okay, but I have not known him for a long time, but I feel that Mr. Bingley is a good man, he says. All right. And then he talks about they keep talking about Mr. Bingley, and then finally Mrs. Bennet is angry. She thinks that her husband has not even met him. Why is he continuously talking about him? And that's when he says that, oh, you should have told me that you are not interested in him. Then I would not have taken the pain to visit him. So that is how he tells his family. And the ladies were very excited. They kept wanting to know about Mr. Bingley, much more about Mr. Bingley, but Mr. Bennet would not tell them. Okay, and we see that in the background we see that there is a lot of jealousy and competition among the mothers who are living in that area. Okay, all of them are competing to find suitable gentlemen for their daughters. That is their sole aim in life, just like Mrs. Bennet. So even though these ladies are friends with each other, when it comes to finding gentlemen for their daughters to marry, they are very competitive with each other. And Mr. Bennet also, promises that he would introduce Elizabeth to Mr. Bingley because he feels that she has a better chance of impressing him. Okay. And on the other hand, Mrs. Bennet hopes that Mr. Bingley will be impressed with all of their daughters, and he will marry one of them. But she hopes that at least this is the first ball of the season, and she hopes that he would dance with all her girls. All right. And again we see the background theme of how it was inappropriate for women to talk to them directly without being introduced priorly. And another thing we see is Mrs. Bennet's fickleness. Okay, fickle nature എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു കാര്യത്തിൽ ഉറച്ചു നിൽക്കാത്ത ഒരു സ്വഭാവം, അത് ഈ ഒരു നോവൽ ത്രൂ ഔട്ട് വി സി. Alright, and again last chapter നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു how pride and prejudice is going to work out, right? So ഇവിടെയും ആ ഒരു പ്രൈഡിന്റെ കാര്യമുണ്ട്. That means these women are very very proud, and they will not go and approach this man even though they hope to get his attention. Okay, at the same time Mrs. Bennet ആദ്യം പറയും ഈ മിസ്റ്റർ ബിംഗ്ലിയുടെ അടുത്ത് കുറെ ചാൻസ് ഒന്നും ഇല്ലാന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുമ്പം she is cursing her husband and she is very angry with him. But then later on we see how she changes her nature and says that, oh, I know you are a good father. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു fickle nature നമുക്കിവിടെ കാണാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും.